My name is Pavel Milata. I'm managing director of leading farmers company in the Czech Republic, and I have been selling agricultural equipment for 20 years. The benefits that we hope to achieve from selling Magro should be increased revenues, and also we want to deliver to our customers a technology that helps them to save the environment. Magro technology helps to reduce the drift of the chemicals that are being sprayed, and also allows for reducing the application rates of pesticides. So that can be up to 30% of the total volume of pesticides without any negative effect on the yield. So that means that the farmers will limit their impact on environment, and also they can save lots of costs, which is important especially now when the margins are low. Our technicians are able to install Magro system on almost any sprayer in one day. Development of this technology is certainly a huge benefit for agricultural sector. The benefits of the technology have been proven and will provide tremendous benefits for the many hundreds of customers I service in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. I have been in the spraying business for 20 years. And have not previously seen a technology that improves conventional spraying to that extent that Magro does.
To me, if there was 5 things that make yield, it's water, 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 and I don't know what the 5th one is. Well, my name is Jerry Brightbill. I farm with my brother. We continue to farm about 4,500 acres of irrigated cotton. We're really more interested in the kill than we are in the cost. A weed is a moisture sucker. In reality, we probably lose more water to weed than we do to the crop. When I heard about Magro, let's get it installed, let's get it put on.
We wanted to take a conventional sprayer with a conventional mix and compare it to the Magro sprayer. In the Magro sprayer, we used the same rate, but then started cutting the rates at 75% and 50%. We put those out in strips. I could see absolutely no difference 3 days after it was sprayed and a week after it was sprayed.
The 50% did surprise me, that literally you could drop to 50 and see no difference.
I was expecting to see some kind of a line out there, and I didn't. So I was impressed. I said, wow, this is the first time I've seen that.
After we saw what we did with 100%, 75, and 50% cut, the rest of our acres were all sprayed at 50 off. If you can go over twice the acres with the same tank, at the cost of these sprayers and the depreciation per hour, well, that's a lot of money. This thing isn't hard to pay for. My operator this is great. I can cover so many more acres without having to fill up, except for I got to be careful toward the end of the day that I don't put in there more than I can get out today, or I'll be here till midnight trying to get this thing sprayed.
It's rarely still in West Texas, so we have issues with drift, and that would be an advantage with this Magro sprayer because it's going to take it right to the plant instead of going over to the neighbor. So the risk is a lot less.
I think it's probably the thing that's going to revolutionize all spraying of any type of insecticide, herbicide on agriculture products of any kind. I have no moving parts, nothing wears out. I can move it from sprayer to sprayer.
We're actually getting better coverage with less chemical on the plant than we would at 100% with a conventional sprayer.
I got a dead weed, I've saved some chemical, and I've gone over more acres. I don't know how much plainer that can be to anybody to look at. Well, there's 3 savings. If just one of them worked, I'd be happy. I've told all of our sales staff and the company that the number one thing that we're going to do for 21 is educate as many people as we can to Magro, because they all got the same problem. I can't kill the weed. Well, I think you can now.
I'm Fate Sparrow. I'm a third generation farmer. I took over as soon as I got out of high school and been farming for 18 years. I didn't have enough help to run all my equipment. So I needed to do something, and I had 2 big sprayers running. It was hard keeping labor, trying to run them all. Without the Magro system, you could turn it on and the chemical was just blowing across the shop yard because I had the pressure up real high. And as soon as we put the Magro system on and got it plumbed up, immediately that drift went away. I mean, I was kind of skeptical about it at first. Still put 10 out, and then I dropped it back to 8, and I've cut it all the way back to 5. It works just as good as putting out 10 and 15 gallons of water. I mean, the first time you use it, I mean, it was immediate. As soon as you turn the sprayer on, you could tell a 100% difference. On a normal day, average, not pushing it hard, I was getting 500 acres a day. And that same sprayer now, I can get 800 to 1,000. $300,000 sprayer, instead of having 2, I went to 1. Cut my rates and do the same amount of acres with 1 sprayer as I was doing with 2. And I've had to cut back on my PICS applications because it's working so much better. Before, you could get out of the sprayer and look at the leaves and you could see the droplets on the leaves. Well, with the Magro system, you can get out now and it looks like somebody painted a sheet of paper across the leaves. You're getting so much better coverage. You can actually see it under the leaves now. Same nozzles, same pressure, same everything. And it works fine. The results were great. If I can start cutting my chemical rates back, I mean, you save 25% on your chemical bill. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's the difference in making money and not making money. And I've had 0 drift complaints this year using the Magro system. There's no electronics, there's no maintenance on it. You don't have to do anything. I mean, pop it off that sprayer, throw it on the new one, and you're ready to go again. I mean, having 0 issues with it. With the Magro system, I don't have a clue how it works. It's one of the hardest things to understand through a science standpoint, but it's the easiest thing to use. I mean, at the end of the day, man, you don't have to clean anything out. There's no filters. I mean, it's a normal day on the sprayer.
I'm John Seeley. Buford Lake Planting Company is my farm, and we farm primarily cotton and soybeans. When I initially got started farming, the commodity prices were fairly low, but the input prices, they kind of went up pretty high. They've never really gone back down. So we try to watch every dime we spend on chemicals. Brian at Vantage South approached me because I had 2 identical sprayers, conventional sprayers, and so he wanted to put a Magro on one and the other one leave it conventional, do some test plots, see how it really worked, because their claim to fame about less chemical and less water, better coverage is a pretty substantial claim. We did a 100% rate, then we did a 75% rate, and then a 50% rate. I mean, everything looks the same. I mean, you can't tell the difference going with reduced water and reduced chemical. It's kind of weird because it kind of draws down into the canopy where usually, it kind of rolls out behind the sprayer. I was actually across the pad from one of the sprayers and they made a turn, and usually it'll spray on my truck or whatever. It didn't at all with the wind blowing into me, and I thought, well, it's kind of odd. And so there's definitely a difference. I don't know how it does it, but there's more droplets up under the leaves than the conventional spraying. And that's what we want to penetrate, especially with insecticides. A lot of our worm materials are very expensive, and if you can't penetrate the canopy, then you're not doing any good. Instead of going from 20 gallons of water and you cut back to 15 gallons of water, and if you reduced your chemicals by 25% and still be on label, that would be astronomical. That's a huge amount of money you could save. And plus the environment. We've had 0 problems out of the system. We haven't had to do one thing to it. As far as the upkeep and the maintenance, there's none. We've done some test strips where we actually reduced chemical and water by 50%, and there's absolutely no difference thus far. So that's pretty amazing. That's very amazing, actually. It would save the farmer a tremendous amount of money. The price point is pretty high on the Magro system, but it pays for itself in no time. Because anybody who's dealt with pigweeds in Liberty, they'll kill them, but you have to spray them when they're really small. So to see a half rate, 50 or 60, 70% better coverage, potentially at 10 gallons, a half rate, you might be doing better than a conventional sprayer at 20 gallons. Not only Liberty's been sprayed half, but every insecticide's been sprayed half. I think we've made 6 plant bug applications, so if we cut that in half, that's a huge amount of money you could save. So it's not only herbicides, but insecticides too. And when you go over a crop and you could potentially save $50, $60 an acre, that ends up being a lot of money. Yeah, less work, more recreation.